Welcome once again to my weekly webcast. We do this every week that we're in Washington, D.C. and Senate is in session, probably depending on the year, 40 to 45 weeks out of the year. We accept your emails. I'll be answering email questions in just a minute. We take you to a different place on Capitol Hill. This particular time, we're going to take you around the new Visitor Center. Remember, prior to 9/11, which was the real push to get the Visitor Center built, another big push to get the Visitor Center built was to protect the safety of the Capitol, because remember, probably 98, 99, during that period of time, 2 police officers were murdered right here in this very building, the U.S. Capitol. And so it gives more security by having people enter underground about a block away from the east entrance of the Capitol. So you can see the new Visitor Center, for the most part, is 3 stories underground. What you see above the ground is a restoration of the Olmsted Plan, which was planned in 1878 for the east front of the Capitol. You can see prior to the Visitor Center being constructed that there was parking on the east front of the Capitol. It was basically an asphalt parking lot. There was a lot of beauty beyond where people parked, but if you were off a block east looking at the Capitol, it would be blighted by all of the cars parked there. So trees were removed, the Capitol Visitor Center constructed, and then restoration of fountains and famous lights are now in place as they were originally intended by the Olmsted Plan of 1878. Now to get to this week's business in the United States Senate. On the floor of the Senate is a housing bill with a long name, but the basic essence of it is to help people save houses from foreclosure. Let me start over again. Then in the Senate Finance Committee, I'm going to be working with Senator Baucus, chairman of the committee, in a bipartisan way on the issue of coverage of health insurance. Last week we had another roundtable. We have another roundtable coming up in a couple weeks. We split it up into these 3 areas, coverage being the one this week, where we're going to have a roundtable. Then we have a committee discussion among members before the bill's finally drafted. It's very important that we go at this very carefully, because this is the most dramatic change of health care legislation in the history of the Congress. It does encompass things like Medicare and Medicaid, but it also encompasses everything that's done through private health insurance. So that'll be what I'm working on in the Senate Finance Committee. Now to the questions that have been emailed in to me. Why did you oppose Kathleen Sebelius as Secretary of Health and Human Services from Barbara at Urbandale? Barbara, the reason I opposed it is because of Kathleen Sebelius's connection in the amount of money that she got from a very extreme abortion doctor in Kansas. Abortion doctor that not only performs abortions, but also very late-term abortions. And also connected with that was her not being entirely candid with the amount of money she received from him as campaign contributions when she was running for office in Kansas. So I voted against her for that reason, and I think there were several other senators. She had about 35 senators vote against her. The second question, is the current administration singling out agriculture with new EPA regulations? That's Kathy from Marshalltown. Kathy, I believe the administration is going to go very much overboard in regulating of agriculture more than ever before. Now, I don't want to say that this is an attack just on agriculture, because they're going to have attack on several segments of the economy. But for sure, agriculture will be touched as never touched before. And I hope to bring some common sense to these regulations by exposing the fact that a lot of them are not based on sound science. And only decisions that should be made in EPA should be based upon sound science. So thank you very much for participating in this week's webcast. I look forward to next week. Email your questions to me. What questions didn't get answered by this way will be answered in writing.